Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Human Design Q&A series, where in each video, I'll be addressing one of your human design related questions. And if you want a chance to get one of your questions answered by me, all you have to do is follow me on Instagram at Crystal Alfarero, and just stay tuned for monthly announcements and Instagram stories where you'll get a chance to submit your questions. And with that said, welcome back, beautiful souls. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Crystal Alfarero. I'm a human design teacher and coach, and also founder of the Human Design Academy. And I help people like yourselves understand their unique energetic blueprint through the human design system. So today we have a question from Ali at ali.low, and her question is, does the interpretation of the gates change if a center is colored in or not? Well, Ali, in short, it does, but it doesn't. And what I mean by that is that the essence and the meaning of the gate doesn't change, but the experience of it does. So whether it's defined, in other words, colored, or undefined and uncolored, then of course your experience of that energy is going to change and it's going to look different for you. And just to give a little quick recap of gates, basically when a gate is part of a defined center, then it's something that's on 24/7. You have consistent access to it and it's consistently available to you. And when a gate is part of an undefined center, this is what we call a dormant gate. And while yes, this is considered a consistent and authentic part of your nature, it's part of who you came here to be, it's something that functions more in an intermittent fashion. It's basically resting in its natural state, and it's turned on in certain circumstances. And so one of the analogies that I really liked is, if you think of a room that has a bunch of light bulbs in it, right? You can think of that like the dormant gate, where they exist, they're there, but it's just waiting for something or some kind of circumstance to really turn them on as well. The next instance is when the planetary transits create one of the last two instances that I mentioned. Basically, the planets have an influence on our energy. Each of the celestial bodies, from the sun, the earth, the nodes, Jupiter, the moon, I'm not sure if I said that already, but basically all of these are moving around the sun and they're all transiting the 64 gates at any given time. Of course, like the cycles and the amount of time differs for each planet, but basically as they pass through each of these 64 gates, they activate that particular energy. And so when a particular planet or celestial body is transiting a specific gate, that's when you feel the influence of that energy at any given time. So going back to how this influences a dormant gate, going back to that gate 1 example, if this is dormant and it's in an undefined center, then basically if, let's say, for example, the moon is transiting gate 8 at a certain period of time, then it creates kind of like this electromagnetic channel again, and therefore creates that definition. And just another example is when the planetary transits create certain definition in certain centers. And just to give an example of this is, let's say you have the moon transiting gate 31, and then you have Uranus transiting gate 7 on the other side. So it creates that channel of the alpha, the channel 31-7, and this is what gives definition to the throat center and also to the G center or the self center. And so in this case, if you have that dormant gate 1, then having that definition in the G is, again, what would give you access to that gate or to that specific energy. Or in other words, you would feel that gate 1, that creativity, that self-expression a lot stronger when that definition is on. So going back to how a gate is expressed when it's part of a defined versus an undefined center, if it's in a defined center, then it's something that you have that consistent access to. It's radiating 24/7. It's consistently available to you. So if we use gate 1, the gate of creativity, gate of self-expression as an example, then that's something that you have that consistent access to and it's on 24/7. If that gate 1 was part of an undefined center, like we were talking about earlier, then this is something that you would experience, that creative self-expression in a more, I guess you could say, intermittent fashion. Sometimes it'll be stronger in certain instances than others. You might experience it more when you're in groups or when you're with, other people's energies, or depending on the planetary transits, then you're going to have periods where this is like really on for you and it feels a lot more obvious and stronger for you. You might have those creative bursts. You might experience it in this more intermittent way, or you might even like find that creative flow when you're working in a cafe because you're bouncing off and you're sampling all these different energies that might activate that G center. Now, I know for some of you, it might sound like a disadvantage to have a dormant gate because it's not on 24/7, but it's really not. So please hear me out. First of all, like I was mentioning earlier, the planetary transits have an influence on our energy and what we're experiencing at any given time. And again, like this is not going to be a lesson on transits, but just know that the planets and the position of the planets and the specific energies that they're activating at a certain time do influence us, and they will, awaken certain parts of our chart at certain times. In other words, there will be times where the planets create definition that awaken your dormant gates. Secondly, we are rarely alone when we need to use and access our gifts the most, right? As an employee, you're likely going to be using your gifts when you're working with other people in your office space or in your shared space. As an entrepreneur, you're likely working with other people. If you're a solopreneur, then you're going to have your clients that you're going to be working with. And of course, like energy can be felt. It doesn't know physical boundaries. You're going to be exchanging that energy with your clients in whatever capacity or form that you're working with them in. And then also, if you're, if you're a public speaker, or if you're a writer or an entrepreneur, anyone that is doing a TED Talk, likely you're going to be using your gifts and you're speaking when you're speaking in front of an audience, and there's going to be that energetic exchange. And I actually know a lot of people, and this is including myself, where there's this natural ease and resonance when you're actually speaking in front of a group of people versus like filming a YouTube video by yourself. There are ways that you can really leverage getting that ease and flow when you're working with an audience, and because of that energetic exchange. And I mean, even in a community or a family, you're going to be constantly surrounded by others that are going to help you activate that dormant energy. A lot of the times, especially when we're just, leaning into our strategy and authority, that's when we're going to be led to those ideal and aligned circumstances and situations that, bring us the right people that are going to activate our gates, that are going to help us really live and shine and show our highest expression. And even the planets, like there's just so many different factors. So again, going back to dormant gates, like it really is not a disadvantage. I don't want you to feel disempowered that you don't have access to this 24/7, because the truth is you don't need access to it 24/7. They say in human design, if there's something that you quote unquote lack, if there's something that's not in your chart, or if your chart is a certain way, it's not because you lack it. It's not because you're at a disadvantage or you're screwed. It's just because you didn't need it to fulfill your purpose, or, you didn't need it to fulfill whatever it was that you came here to do. So just trust that, you're going to be led to those right circumstances, the right people that are going to help you express yourself and share your gifts when the time is right and when you need it the most. Going back to the original question, does the interpretation of the gate change when it's part of a center that's colored in or not? The answer is no. So the experience of the energy changes and your ability to access it might be different, but the essence and the meaning of that gate doesn't change. Now that's all for today, and if you found this helpful, I would be so grateful if you could hit that like button or share this video with anyone who you think might benefit from this information. Also, if you're interested in more Q&A and want to learn more about the human design system, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Crystal Alferrero. So with that said, have an amazing day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.